Yeah, Baruch HaLevi be here, not today from the Defiant Spirit or from Man Uprising, my two coaching counseling brands, but just me, just be as both an American Jew and an Israeli, and loud and proud about both. And I'm also a resident of Denver, and I have two children, grown children, at the University of Colorado Boulder. So I have a lot of feelings today, the day after the terrorist attempt or incident in Boulder, and want to share it with you. I also want to share with you, I don't identify as a rabbi anymore. For many years I was, means teacher, so I'll still teach. And the bottom line is today is the holiday of Shavuot, which is the day of Torah, of teaching and learning. And I want to share some Torah, but it doesn't have anything to do with literal texts from the Bible thousands of years ago. It has everything to do with the text of our lives and realities as American Jews, as Israelis, and as students at the University of Boulder. So my people have been emailing and texting and wanting to make sure, calling, make sure I and my family are okay. We're solid. We're good. If what you mean is by physical safety, yeah, we're fine. However, at a deeper level, no, we're not okay. And frankly, neither should you be okay. I want to talk about that. I've been asked a lot though, are my two kids okay? And they're in Israel, so they're more than okay. They have never been safer. It's a tragic world we live in when I say that, knowing that they are safer in Israel than they are at the University of Colorado Boulder. 1 year ago, I was at that walk of solidarity. It wasn't even a rally. People calling it a rally. It's not a rally. It's a walk of solidarity to not forget that there are still human beings and Israelis, same thing, but not everybody there is Israeli, are being held as hostages in Gaza. And so it's a way to walk, to show solidarity, to remember, and yet to demand that they be released, but entirely peaceful. I was there a year ago with my son, so I know it firsthand of who shows up to it. And it hits real close to home when you think you or your kids, more importantly, could have been there, should have been there, and weren't there. And so have a lot of feelings about it, have a lot of feelings about what's going on right now across America, across the world, in regards to the growing Jew hatred. Let's stop calling it anti-Semitism. It's called Jew hatred. Anti-Semitism has become a sterilized word. There's studies in anti-Semitism. We need to talk Jew hatred. We need to talk about this growing thing that it's infecting our college campuses. It's infecting all kinds of aspects of our lives. So many Jews I know who identify as liberals feel abandoned and betrayed by the causes that they once supported. They still support, but they've been abandoned by the institutions. And it's time. It's time to make a choice to hear the words of my teacher and mentor, Viktor Frankl, who lived, endured the Holocaust, lost so much along the way, but he didn't lose his ability um, to nuance life and good and evil. And he said the following: there are only two races. There are the decent and the indecent. And I believe that with every ounce of my being. I don't care if somebody is Jewish. There is nothing in my tradition that says you need to be Jewish to be a good person, that you need to be Jewish to get to heaven. There are 613 commandments on this day of celebrating the commandments. Not one of them deals with what you believe. Every one of them deals with what do you do. I judge a man or a woman by their actions, by what they do, not what they say they believe, not good intentions or feelings or faith, but what do you do? You either do decent things or you do indecent things. And make no mistake about it, that to sit idly by and say nothing and do nothing, it's a choice, right? The rock band Rush said it: not to choose is a choice. And we live in a world right now where we can't afford to have people who say they support us, say they support the state of Israel, and then go into silence and then go into complacency, or to start contextualizing it, to start explaining why this man yesterday isn't a monster, he's just mentally deranged, it's a one-off thing, or the shooter in DC can't be attributed to what he's hearing on college campuses, right? We don't contextualize or qualify any other hate crimes, any other acts of terrorism. But when it comes to Jews, we start to explain it away. You don't have to believe in everything that the state of Israel does. It's a democracy. Most Israelis I know, all Israelis I know, argue with and debate and challenge and disagree absolutely unequivocally. But when we start equivocating around moral lines, frankly, we've lost our way. When we start explaining how the river to the sea chant on college campuses doesn't actually mean what they say it means, or we start explaining that intifada doesn't mean what we know it to mean. I lived in Israel during the second intifada. Buses were being blown up. It has consequences. Intifada and these chants and this hatred has escalated, and it is now toxic, and it has embedded itself into institutions, organizations, communities that Jews once felt at home. But not this Jew, and not most Jews I know. It's time to get over our labels of liberal and conservative um, and right and left and black and white and Jewish and Christian. Let's get back to what Viktor Frankl said, and if he can say it out of the Holocaust, then you and I can say it sitting in the 21st century in our nice cushy lives, that there are only two types, the decent and the indecent. And the decent don't just feel decent, they do decent things, they stand up for decent causes, and that's what we need now more than ever. Last but not least, somebody said to me, why are you wearing that shirt? I have way more than this. I have all kinds of pro-Israel shirts because it's the least I can do. I don't, observe anymore. I don't wear a yarmulke, a kippah like I used to. My son does. And I know a lot of people have been worried about that. He should take it off. You should not wear this. And I say, fuck you. It is time to not hide who we are, to not equivocate, to be strong. That is how you answer terror. That is what I have learned from my Israeli brothers and sisters, that you stand up louder and prouder, not in spite of it, because of it. That's how you respond to terror. When I was living in Israel during the second intifada and the Sbarro pizza was blown up, the next day it was put together again, and people were there ordering pizza, as we say in Hebrew, davka, specifically to show the terrorists you cannot win. So we need to stand up louder and prouder because of what happened yesterday and what happened in DC, and put on our kippah, our yarmulkes, and not hide who we are, because that is exactly what is expected of the cowering Jew, of this old version of us and vision of us, and frankly, too often the way we have acted, especially in the diaspora. But now more than ever before, we need strong Jews. We need strong pro-Israel Zionist supporters. We need strong Christian and secular brothers and sisters who put on the lapel pin, who get a Star of David, who put the mezuzah on their house. I have an Israeli flag hanging on my house, and every Saturday or Sunday outside, literally outside my house, there's hundreds of people playing soccer, and many of them are Arab. And I've gotten shouted at a couple times, and I've also engaged in some really wonderful conversations. And that's what it's going to take. It's not going to take being silent. It's not going to take cowering. We must learn how to defend ourselves as Jews. We should all be licensed and have a license to carry. We should do it responsibly. We should do it legally, and we should do it. There should have been somebody there with a sidearm yesterday. There is today at Jewish institutions in Boulder. I have Israeli friends who are there on providing security. We must be able to defend ourselves physically, mentally. Also, most Jews I know, most pro-Israel folks, don't know enough about Israel to combat the hatred, the disinformation and misinformation. Here's just one great way. Buy Douglas Murray's book on death cults. It just came out, and it's about what happened on October 7th and afterwards. It is an education. We should be learning it. We should be teaching it. We should be indoctrinating it into our kids. My son Aviv and I drive to school every day 40 minutes, and I indoctrinate the hell out of him to inoculate him against the nonsense and the half-truths and the lies. And he can debate grown adults. He's 14 years old. He knows more than most of his teachers. He is armed with the most important thing of all, knowledge. Go to Israel, experience it. Do not cancel your trips because you perceive it to be not a safe time. It is always a safe time in Israel. I was there during terrorist incidents and I didn't feel unsafe. I was there during Tzuk Eitan, Operation Protective Edge, down in the Gaza envelope, and I felt safe and secured. No place is obviously 100% secure. Just go to Boulder, Colorado or Washington, D.C. as a Jew to find that out. But do not cower. Do not cancel your flights. Go there. Cancel your trip to Hawaii or the Bahamas now more than ever as Jews, as Zionists, regardless of your religion. Go to Israel. See for yourself firsthand. It is one of the safest places to walk on earth. You are protected there. You are wanted there. You will see not an apartheid state. You will see a state of good human beings, decent human beings, Jewish, Arab, Muslim, Christian, living together in harmony in so many places. No, not in Gaza and the West Bank, but I lived in the north of Israel, where Jews with Jews and Christians and Muslims get along famously up there. So don't believe what your neighbors and the people around you have to say about Israel. Go find it out for yourself. And especially if you're a Jew and you haven't been to Israel, I'm sorry, shame on you. There have been Jews for thousands of years longing for Israel, willing to die to go to Israel. You don't have to do either. Buy a plane ticket, hop on the next flight, go there, have a nice vacation, go, instead of Hawaii, go down to Eilat and just swim as solidarity. But now more than ever, we must come out as Jews or pro-Israel Zionists. We must be loud about it. We must be proud about it. Now is not a time to cower. And most of all, as my teacher said, we need to start dividing the world, not by all these ridiculous, superficial and hurtful labels, but by two labels. Either you're decent or you're indecent. If you're decent, you're one of us, you're part of us, you're welcome to stand beside us. But if you do, then know that there is work to do. And if you're indecent, well, guess what? We're coming for you.